What up? What up? What up, internet? Who you are, where you be, where you at, what you see. This is Pop Cult Parent, your favorite podcast that talks about pop culture, life, and everything in between. And the hits keep hitting because you demand it. We're gonna bring it to you. We got another X-Men '97 reaction episode. We were reacting to episode 9, Extinction Part 2. And I'm one of your hosts, Mark M.F. Jones, and I'm honored to be joined by...
This is Niels R.Y. I cannot believe we only have one episode left. This is ridiculous.
And this is Shannon, a.k.a. the claims adjuster for the X Mansion.
And ladies and gentlemen of the Pop Cult, I am excited and thrilled to welcome to the Pop Cult a friend. He is a husband. He is a father. He is an athlete, leading other Black men to run all around Boston. But most importantly, he might be one of the few people who love superheroes more than me. Ladies and gentlemen of the Pop Cult, I am excited and thrilled to welcome Mr. Jeff Davis. Jeff, how are you doing, sir?
I'm super ecstatic, excited to be here and fired up. Y'all need to know that Magneto is right. He is me and I am him, and we are Magneto. We're just living in the world. Y'all just don't know yet.
Just living in his world.
Just living in his world.
Good to have you here, man.
Yeah.
Great to be here. Thank you, gentlemen. This is a dream. This is a dream come true. It's like literally, this is what my childhood dreams are made of. This is amazing.
Awesome. So, are we good to start? Can we kick it off? Can I go?
Let's do it, baby.
Please.
So I think it will be appropriate for me to start off. Jeff said Magneto was right, and I need to start off by saying Dr. Michael Stevens was right. So for folks who had listened to episode 8, Mike predicted damn near everything we saw in episode 9. So he named number 1, Magneto was going to be at the point of no return. That happened. He named that Bastion was going to throw hands, and Bastion is a problem. He was right about that. And last but not least, he said that Xavier and Magneto were going to throw hands. And he straight up said he wouldn't be surprised if it got to a point where Magneto would straight up take the adamantium out of Wolverine. Mike said all of that in the previous episode, and he was right on all of it. So Mike said some other predictions. I won't say what they are, but if Mike's crystal ball is continuing to be as lavish as it is, we have an idea of what might happen in episode 10, and we have an idea of what might happen in season 2. And if any of the stuff Mike says happens, this is going to be ridiculous. And dare I say, it's already better than Invincible.
Strap yourself
That's all
in.
I'm going to just start off
Strap yourself
with.
in, kids.
Okay.
It's about to get real in these streets. Yeah.
I mean, look, if I would say this, that Dr. Mike Stevens is the professor that we really need for the X-Men. The Mando miss. Mando miss.
Yeah.
And in the alternate universe, in the multiverse, Mike Stevens is my professor. Mike, I'm calling you out, bro. You just sign me up. I'm ready.
Team Mike. Because we could get into it, man. I am not happy with Charles.
Let's get into it. All right.
I mean,
No.
Let me start off with this, and then I would love to hear y'all's thoughts. The episode starts with Magneto preparing for war, with Bastion mourning his mother, and with mutants being hunted by mobs of humans. And what is Charles doing? Going around his mansion saying, "My things. They broke my things.
Chair. My special chair's broken in my pictures and my." I'll give Charles this. I'll give him this. My man was down bad. He woke up with his empty bedside. He's like, his queen wasn't there. He's like, it's a lonely life now.
I know. I could just hear Trey Songz sing it. Just said, and I wish we never did it. Like, he was just hurting.
You know, he like turned over, like looked at it too. He just like touched the pillow.
Sure, probably woke up during the night like, Lalandra.
Yeah,
it's a little bit.
He didn't have his metal legs no more. Yeah, you gotta use a crankety wheelchair. He was hurt, man.
Should have stayed with his bird queen.
I
mean,
so I'm curious. Yeah, like I'm curious on where y'all are with Professor. Like, let's talk about it. I know like we'll get into like specifics with Magneto showing up and all of those things, but I like the way that like Scott walked away from Professor, that's how I feel like the collective universe walked away from Charles. Let me just list some things and then I'll turn it over to you all. Professor X knew about Bastion when Bastion was a kid. That's number one. Knew that there was just straight up hatred with Bastion when it came to mutants, because that's why he didn't come in. Like, once he mentioned mutants, they just were like shunned him away. So he knew about Bastion, number one. Number two, he gave the school to Magneto. Granted, I thought that was a good decision, but here we are now. He gave the school to Magneto. Number three, he didn't notice Madeline. Like, bro, you are the most powerful telepath in the world, and you couldn't tell a difference between Jean and Madeline. I call BS. He didn't notice Madeline.
He's thinking about his space shorty, dog.
And last but not least, he never told anybody he was still alive. They found out from a news broadcast
from the news, from Twitter,
put on
from social media that their boy's still alive. Like, and no one really got into him about that either. They were just like, "Hey, you back?" But it's like, come on, man. You not only are you not alive, you've been thriving. Thriving.
This man became the emperor of the Shi'ar Empire.
Total time in outer space, and we're down here in it, neck deep in it, and you just having a good old time up there.
Hey,
he got new legs. He got a new suit.
Lieutenant Dan got new legs up in space, and he having a good old time.
And he
was
foods, and he won't but 2 or 3 breaths from being like, I renounce the X-Men or I forget about them. He like, 2 more breaths, and he would have been like, hey, I don't remember y'all. This is where I'm at now in space.
Let me ask y'all something. When did he sense all of Genosha, or did he just sense Gambit dying?
No, he sensed
Genosha. Because if you look at it, if you look back, it was like Gambit was the biggest one because I think it's like the emotional weight, but there were like hundreds of skeletons behind Gambit. They were just smaller in the font.
They were dancing, making love, drinking.
Trading
children of the atom.
And
the timing, just think if he came a day later, just a couple hours later, Magneto would have had this sucker buzzing. You know what I'm saying? If he just like, oh my goodness.
But here's the thing. I gotta say this. Look, Professor X is a narcissist, and he's on some all lives matter stuff. He's been on his own thing for the whole time. You call the group your X-Men. Even the way he says, to me, my X-Men. And if you run the tape back, Magneto don't have that in his voice. Magneto is like my people.
My brothers, my people,
my X-Men, because this is what we got to do. Professor X is claiming bodies. Rogue called it out. I'm getting ahead of it a little bit. Rogue called it out, but he came down, like you said, he's checking for his chair. He's got, he's missing his bird queen, shorty. But he wasn't like, how are y'all? Read the room, bro. You're supposed to be the most powerful telepath in this galaxy, in this, what is the Milky Way ghetto. You're supposed to be the best we got, bro. You can't read the room. We lost how many, what was it, 14 million people? And the first thing you say, like, come on, we gotta get a new suit. We gotta, we just gotta go stop. Man, look. He didn't cash hands from Rogue from a jump.
And I just want to say, to your point, he ain't even got to really read the room, or he could literally read the room. Like, for us, we're like, okay, let me sort of tell by facial expression. He really could be like, okay, I can see from your thoughts.
So sad.
I need to sit down and chill because everybody's sad right now. I
love Shannon. I love what
Jeff.
Rogue said to him when because he wasn't even ready to like accept Gambit's like past. He's like, oh, here's a little bayou baby, and he should have left that behind because when he was with me and my X-Men, he was a better person. And Rogue was like, yo, chill for a second. Like he understood like his past and where he's going makes him who he is. And if you didn't just see us as your students, I was like, get him, Rogue. Get him.
Can't be mad at her. Like it's this certain like this show. I swear this show is one of the best shows of all time. I'm just put out here. It's an X-Men story we always needed. Call Professor X on his stuff. This man is it's inhumane. It was always look. I love my X-Men, but how you gonna take these babies and make them the foot soldiers? And then when you do this,
quiet with that statement right now. That man real quiet with that statement right now. He's like, "What you mean, Jeff? What's the problem?"
Jeff, get that guy off the podcast.
He's like, "Dude, is this who you putting on?
Yo,
This who you putting on Popcorn Parent?"
all of a sudden,
Operation
all
Nightfall.
Jeff's
Operation
lights go
Nightfall.
out. All Jeff's lights go out. We lose signal.
look, if I'm going down, I'm shooting my shot, y'all. We got the playoffs on. I'm shooting my shot. Like Professor X, like I had to write out some more notes because this man, I just like it feels like he doesn't have an identity. Like truly, his identity, I think he has unprocessed PTSD from losing his legs and becoming a person with a disability, not having accepted that. And he grew up in a privileged family with so many things he didn't have to want. So his head is like, no, it's intellect over everything. I can fix it. I can do it. We can do it. And in all that best intention, you actually lost your connection with your people, bro. You actually lost the humanity in it. Go ahead.
I think he wants to be human. Can I just keep it a buck?
Come on.
I think he wants to be
come on.
human. I think deep down, he wants to be loved and accepted by them so much because he wants to be them. And deep down, and because in his DNA, he will never fully get accepted by them. But I think he wants to be them so bad it hurts. That's what I think.
If we take
And
it
Magneto,
from a person
and
color,
that's why their friendship will never be repaired. Because
That's it.
Magneto is proud to be a mutant.
Yeah.
facts.
Magneto
Loud and proud.
loves being a mutant, and he loves other mutants, and he sees them for the beauty and greatness. So the X-Men First Class, when the guy playing Magneto and he sees
Michael Fassbender.
Mystique, and he's like, show me your real self. And she like gives like a human version of herself. He's like, your real self. And she does like Mystique's blue skin. And he said, perfection. That is a microcosm of how Magneto feels about mutants.
And it's a terrible movie, but Last Stand, when Mystique gets the cure in her and she becomes like a human, and he's like, what a shame she was so beautiful.
Yep.
Like Professor X was like, there you go, girl, you in now.
That's right.
Professor X would be like, I understand, people will accept you more. And Magneto be like, damn, they got you too.
Look, he passes.
He
passes. If Professor X took the neutralizer, he passes. How many of our people look?
And the thing is, even with his gift, he doesn't have to take that to pass. He's just some dude. You know what I'm saying? Like he
wants to be loved by them so bad. It's so important to him to be loved by them, even though he knows he's mutant. And that's why I think, like, deep down, he don't want to be a mutant. He want to be human.
It's not identity. It's not identity crisis, which is why, look, when he started talking to Scott, he was like, what Scott? Scott like, man, please. Scott done, look, we are all Scott. Scott done grew up. I know we're talking about Professor X, but we have grown up with Scott. Look, we had 9 episodes with this man, and he went from like your basic straight guy, I'm gonna be Cyclops and do the thing, to like, wait, Magneto done showed me some things now.
Yeah, and you spend a little too much time with Magneto.
And I think with Scott, it's like represents like people just want to be respected as adults and like thinking beings. He's like, you didn't even give me the choice. Like I might have wanted to stay here and fight the good fight, but you didn't even like let me make that choice. You were like, nah, give it to Magneto. And like I've been your boy since day one. Like you've been my father, and then you were like, to my enemy, take my school. You know what I'm saying? Like
that man tried to kill me in front of you multiple times for years.
And I feel like I still listen to him because you chose him, and I believe in you that much.
Absolutely. Because I feel like Professor X has been called a lot of things, but one thing I ain't really heard him called out loud is right. And say,
come on,
and
Shannon.
I mean, You know, you feel me? And I mean, and real talk, like, and the same, you know, the opposite of whatever for Magneto. Magneto's been called a lot of things, but nobody has really said, "Oh,
He
he's
was wrong.
wrong." Like, you know,
Hey, no one said it.
you
You know,
know,
and-
Like Killmonger. Like Killmonger. Like I might not agree with the methods, bro.
yeah,
and then with the methods and everything, I think it's this is why I love this show, because it's asking the tough questions, and you know, people, marginalized people who are like, you know, prejudiced against, prosecuted, whatever. It's like there's always this narrative of like, you got to be the bigger person, and it's like, when is that in? When can I start throwing hands? When can
Mhm.
I start getting in the dirt with you? You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm not saying
Mark,
that's right, but
the episode is called "Tolerance is Extinction."
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I think
Put
that
it in
is
the title.
deep down like the thing. And look, just to like get to like the specific part in the episode, there is a whole speech between Magneto and Charles about this particular thing.
Mhm.
And I'm curious, it like I want, like, please feel free to react, but I don't know about y'all. In the back of my head, I was like, I know there's one thing we can agree on, and that is Bastion needs to go.
Yeah.
Bastion is a problem. We can team up and figure that out, and then
Yeah.
afterwards we can have a
we can
glass of
handle this.
Ovaltine.
Yeah.
We can get some Nilla wafers, and we can
You
talk
can
about.
turn
We
the
can
lights
flip,
back on and we'll figure this whole
we
thing
can
out.
flip a coin. Whoever wins gets the control of the X-Men and everything else. But that guy needs to go. I
Yeah.
don't care if the whole planet is going to go into Ice Age. We don't know nothing about him. He needs to go.
Yes.
He may have some stuff cooking. We need to come together and figure that out.
And I
blame Charles for
if
not
Charles
making that
came
happen.
to Magneto with that, like, look, you know, I think what you're doing is wrong, but we got to handle this. And I think Magneto would have listened to him.
Yeah.
Really?
Because like, because like,
Professor
what
X,
what
you go.
You
what
go ahead,
other
Shannon.
what other way is it to handle Bastion? Like they would have to be like, yes,
true.
we have to basically we have to put him down. Like even if they did the control collar, it's like, what is your outcome? Is your thought going to be, we're going to put the control collar on him, chill, do some stuff, and now he's going to be a productive citizen of society, or just like locked up? You got to put him down. So they could agree, like you said, they could agree on that. Put him down, and then, you know, go from there or whatever.
Can I share a
Needles
thought?
to you.
Oh,
Yo, go ahead, Mark.
Jeff. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the piece about Professor X. This is the thing, and I'll bid on your comment too, Mark. Professor X, like, he didn't acknowledge the pain. You know, as
Not once.
fathers, uncles, you know, brothers. He not one time did he say to one person, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
All I did is sense all the loss. If he would have come at Magneto and said, "Look, bro, I can't even imagine. My heart is broken. I don't know how we get through this. I know one thing. We need to stop Homeboy. And then you want to go on an asteroid? Let's talk about it. You want to take our people? Let's talk about it. I got you." But
Hey,
nah.
guy
And
gotta
Jeff,
go.
if he was in Genosha with Magneto, there wouldn't be a
Might-
conversation.
Mm.
They would both be.
So-
it would be, if y'all are familiar with the comic books, it would be Krakoa. It would be
Now-
Krakoa if he was there with them. But go ahead, Mark.
Nels, to piggyback, this is where I wanted to comment. My take in reading this episode, I think Magneto was so hurt and so angry because he tried Charles' way, but also for a brief moment, he was like, this might work.
Mhm.
He was like, he's like, Charles might be right. You know, I kind of like being a good guy. I kind of like running the X-Men. Maybe Charles is right. And I think that's what really hurt him the most. Because deep down, then he was like, I should have known. Like, I should have known from jump, like, this wasn't going to work. But that's what I think hurt Magneto the most, is he was like, Charles is right. Like, man, we could do this. And then all hell broke
His eyes, Mark. When he's hovering over that lake and Charles is trying to, like, no, but come get on my program. Look at his eyes. And he says, I told a child. And watched his eye vaporize through its eyes. I told him he would never have fear. The shame, guilt, PTSD. You miss me with all this tolerance. Nah, homie. everybody's gone. If you on my
And he
way,
didn't
I'm
acknowledge
coming
it.
for you.
Yeah.
Back
Not
to what
for
you
1
said,
second.
Jeff. He didn't acknowledge it for a second. He looked down. He would look with shame and didn't like come up because he knew Magneto was right and he didn't want to acquiesce at all. And it was all his ego. This man, Magneto did a speech and said, I made an invitation. We draw on sides.
Yeah.
And do you know what Professor X did that whole time? Look down. He didn't say a thing. He looked down and let Magneto cook. And I know, I don't know much, but I know when Rogue flew up in the sky, I know one thing, Scott was like, damn.
If only I could fly. Wish I could
You ain't
fly.
gonna fight for her. That's the
Like, come on, yo, that's Rogue.
I'll let
Yeah.
Jean go before we let Rogue go.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
Yeah.
damn, she a good one. Come on now. What we supposed to do?
Yeah. But yo, and like the addition of that, like that extra layer of feeling too, like not only was she like, she gave her speech, like how many people must die.
Yeah.
Even like Morph was with us for 30 minutes before we left him to die,
Poor Morph.
which that's sad, but it is hilarious because he died in like the second, well, not
Literally,
died.
Left them. Left
That's what it
them.
is, in the second episode in
Mhm.
in the first
Poor
X-Men.
Morph. Morph's like, I'm just trying to live my life, Rogue. You didn't
Yeah.
have to. Like, I'm back. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to
But
pick up
like
the
that,
pieces of my life.
but yeah, like that layer, but then on top of that, with her going, her like, because wasn't that Gambit's coat? Was that Gambit's
Yeah.
coat that she just
It
like
I was
dropped?
wondering whose coat that was.
Yeah,
It was
that she
Gambit's
just
coat that she
draped
put
on
on
his
him.
chair, and I'm like,
Mm.
how do you argue with that? You're like, okay, I completely see Rogue. Yep, you right.
Because
You
you know
what I
when-
felt?
Go ahead, Jeff.
My fault, Mark. It was like go back to 2020 in the pandemic. Our people were losing our people every day. It felt like, and then someone tried to say, "It's like they take George is murdered," and then like, but they burn down Target.
Cool. Like,
I got no
that's
words
not-
for y'all.
Yeah,
That is Professor. That's what Professor
That's
X
Professor
did.
X.
That's what Professor X did. Yep,
But we have to
exactly.
save the Target, man.
But the optics, Magneto.
I'm so
Go
mad.
ahead, Mark.
we gotta make.
Yeah.
We gotta put out a tweet. We gotta do a press release.
That man had a more emotional conversation with the president of the United States than he did Magneto.
yeah, absolutely.
He was like, "Trust me. Don't do things to Magneto. Trust me. And if you can't trust me, trust my X-Men."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bruh. But yeah, you had like 2 lines for Magneto, and Magneto poured out his heart. Dog,
Soul.
poured out his
Yeah.
soul, put it on the table, was like, dog, this is what's going on with me right now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say? What did Charles have to
And-
say? Not a damn thing. Look
you know the
right down and
interesting
didn't say Jack.
The other X-Men, when they started like picking sides, even like Storm, none of them were like, you can't join Magneto. No, we gotta stay. They were just like, yo, we are a family. Like
Mhm.
Storm said, like, no, don't turn your back on family. She was like, don't join Magneto, because she's like, kind of right. But we're a family, so let's handle this as a family, And it's like, even them are just like questioning, like, are we doing the right thing? Are we on the right side? But whatever we
Yeah.
do, we got to do it together.
I think there's 2 truths to what's going on with like the X-Men. I think Scott's like, one, Magneto went too far. Like it's not that he's wrong, it's just that he went too far. You can't kill all of humanity. You can't send humanity to the Ice Age. That can't be the answer. There might be another answer, but that can't be it. And then 2, whatever with Charles. Like whatever. Like you're here and you're here, but like I'm doing what I think is the right thing to do, not what you're telling me to do. And
Yeah.
like you part of our family, so I'm gonna tolerate you, but like I know we need to stop bashing, and we
Mhm.
need to get Magneto to not like destroy a planet.
And
And then from there we'll figure it out.
and you guys, the comic book experts, correct me if I'm wrong. If I have one criticism about this episode, it's like Magneto is like, he's not the villain, but he comes off as like, yeah. It's like mustache twirling, because it's like, what are you going to get out of destroying the Earth? like the mutants still need a place. So like what's the plan here? And I don't know, maybe y'all can put some light up, but I was like, what's the
You
plan,
there, Mike.
Magneto?
I feel you. But I think that's a very logical argument. Magneto is now he's traumatized.
He's just beyond that.
He's traumatized.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like how many times, if we take this to the Black community, you have like young men, maybe when we're hooping, whatever, someone says something, whatever, maybe we don't know someone lost, and then people are throwing hands.
Mhm.
Hey, why are you so mad, bro? And sometimes you gotta hold people. Sometimes you gotta like just like be with them. And I feel Magneto is like so deep in his trauma and not knowing how to process and not knowing how to outlet. I think when he flew to the pole, it was like you mentioned earlier, like with Charles's way versus his way. He was like, you know what? Nah, man. Nah, man.
Yeah.
First off, you coming after all my people. And that's the thing. My X-Men, my people, my mutants. Oh, you did what now? I got something for you, Bastion. I got something for you. And if the humans get caught in the wake, hey,
it is what it is.
It is what it is, B.
And plus, like they sort of had a piece in it because when we look at some of the governments, the U.S. government, this and that,
That's
they
right.
were like,
They
we
funded
were like,
this.
yeah, we were working with Bastion. We just didn't like basically we thought he was gonna hurt you bad. We didn't know he was gonna like kill you like that. And that's that's nobody finds
It's
solace
a familiar
in that. They're like,
tune.
oh, okay. Woo.
In the United States government, that's a familiar.
Come on.
Yeah. And so even with
song.
that, like my thought too is he was probably like, okay, Genosha was our thing, mutants. And to be real, you would have killed every single mutant there if you could. The only reason you didn't kill everybody was because some of us escaped. So for him, he's probably like, okay, Earth is basically your Genosha, humans. So I'll kill all of y'all. And then,
Good luck.
the hope, mutants survive and then mutants go to asteroid and whatever. But he's probably like, you did it to us, so this is what it is.
And look, he put him on notice. Go back to episode 2 when he pulled the UN up and said, "Don't make me do this to y'all.
Don't let me.
Don't make me
let you down.
Yeah.
Don't make me let you down."
And we to like put it in regards to your question mark on like a comic book level. It gets to the point like we typically meet Magneto where he's at this like emotional state. But anytime someone tries to like talk rationally to him, he always hits them back with, what have the mutants, or excuse me, he's like, what have the humans shown you that makes you think what I'm doing is wrong?
Like Janet, what have you done for me lately?
He's like, what have the mutants, or why do I keep saying that? What have the humans done to make you think my course of action is the wrong one?
Yeah.
And that's typically when people are like rubbing and like, it's like, but it's wrong. You can't do it like that. There's another way. Tolerance, patience, like waiting. And he's like, it's like, yo, I mean, it's funny. How a lot of people do the comparison of Magneto and Malcolm X and Xavier and Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
If you read a letter in a Birmingham City jail, that's Magneto. Magneto's like, yo, except for the nonviolent part. You take that part out. Magneto's like, yo, like, what is waiting? Like, waiting means never. Yeah. Like, I cannot wait, and I have to rise it up, because if I don't raise up, like, and take care of myself and self-preservation and for the preservation of my people, you will constantly and comfortably stomp me down. So no, I have to elevate this. I have to be violent, or you're not gonna, like, you will be comfortably okay with oppressing me and my people. So yeah, like Magneto's like, he always hits folks back with like, what have the humans done that makes you think that what I'm doing is wrong? And typically they don't really have an answer for him. So that's at least what happens in the comic books. Y'all, there is a whole nother half of this episode that we have not talked about.
Yes.
That we should probably discuss.
Hey, real quick, can I just say
yes.
Can I just say something? I just real quick, I love that Beast and Forge are like boys. Like he's
Mhm.
like, yo, what up, Forge? He's like
Science brothers.
It's
I was like,
science.
okay, science, bro. Like, yeah, I just love that. I was like, I just need like they need a podcast, just a Forge and Beast podcast, and they just talk about science and like life and trying to get women
And simping. Yes.
Buildings.
Yes. All right. So there's two teams. There's the blue team and there's a gold team. A team led with Storm goes to handle Bastion, and a team with the rest of them go to try to take down
the rest.
Magneto. And for some very odd reason, there is. Let me just like kind of explain the situation, and I'll tell you why this is a thing. There is clearly one person that needs to die a horrible death and needs to get off the board. And there's another guy that they just want to talk to and get him to like change his mind. And for some reason, Wolverine is on the team with the people who just want to talk versus the team where someone clearly needs to die. Who is drafting the teams?
Hey, Charles knew what it was.
Yeah.
Someone does not know how to delegate properly. Why is
He's
the
always got
killer
plans.
going to the talking
He
team?
even tried to come at Wolverine. Wolverine's like, this day only ends in one way. He's like, Wolverine, if you must be angry at someone, be angry at me.
And yet
But then he whispers in his ear,
but
but hold on, just chill in the back, Wolverine. Just chill.
You get a chance, you kill him. Like,
Yeah.
Don't even look for me for it. Just do it. Just
This
Yeah.
man is he's breaking the planet, Wolverine.
I'm still on some. Why did you send him up there? You need to kill that other guy. He's
This
the
one
best
never made
thing
no
he is
sense.
at what he does.
But his
Go
body is
kill him.
coarse with metal.
Yes.
I never understood it.
Like,
I never understood it, bro.
just take him
You
off the
talking about the
board.
master of magnetism. I'm a professor. I don't have mutant powers. But if you got a job to do, and it's a diplomatic trip, why are you sending the murder man with the metal claws to the master of metal?
Mhm.
Make it make sense. I want someone to tell
Chuck!
me why this
Chuck!
made sense. It don't make no sense. And poor Morph gotta handle another. You know Sinister's there. You
Yeah.
already know Sinister's there. Why
That
are
is
you
true.
sending
That's-
this man consistently back in the hands of Sinister? Granted, he didn't have to go against Sinister, but you don't even know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Why do they keep doing this to Morph? I'm just confused and concerned about the delegation of the team. First and foremost, before we even talk about what happened at either side, why did you draft the teams like that? So that's one. Go ahead.
I want to respect Morph real quick because Morph uses they them pronouns, it sounds like.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Which
that's
is
the first time they
amazing.
acknowledge that
Correction.
in
Which
the
is
show.
amazing.
Yeah.
But when I think about that as a person, a non-binary person who uses they them, you have to go to trauma maybe all the time because that's his life. And then you send that person back to the traumatizer. What are you doing?
Good luck,
Yo.
Morph. Good luck today.
Yeah.
Like, just-
Yo, but yo, the part that even hits a little harder, not only was it like they were sent to the traumatizer, they had to transform into the traumatizer for like a little bit because there was a moment where Morph was pretending to be Sinister. And I mean, Bastion
shit,
saw
I
right
didn't
through
even
it.
think about that.
Yeah.
That's
but it made
another
it-
level
Hey,
of trauma.
That's
Morph
heavy.
is the G because that took a lot. Like that took a lot
Facts.
for Morph to do. Like,
Facts.
whew, I didn't
They
even
didn't have
think
to do
about
that.
that, Shannon. Dang.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
And it was
They
like,
Morph does
that's
for
how
this
committed they
team.
are to the cause, to the team.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I do want to give like there's a lot of shout outs that need to happen,
Yeah.
but I gotta give a shout out to Gene. Like
Come on.
Woo,
Look,
Nels.
Gene
Speak
said Gene toxic as hell. But I gotta give love to Gene when she shows up. When she was fighting Sinister, she said, Madeline fights with me today. And I assure you, she sure was. Because Gene did not faint and went
Bruh.
toe-to-toe with Sinister.
Hey.
Sinister is a big bad, all right? He's one of the top folks in this show. And she went toe-to-toe and took an entire bowling alley up in his dome.
Hey,
I
look,
And
was,
the
like,
jukebox.
I was so proud
And
of
the
Gene
jukebox.
that day. Good
if
job,
I was
Gene.
Sinister, the first time you threw a bowling ball 80 miles per hour in my face, I'm like, yo, timeout. Hold up. This is done. Because I'm not doing this all night. What do you want to know, Gene? Because like
Shoot
that,
through all them
that can't
joints.
happen again.
She took a hit and I was like, oh, you messing with me and Madeline. Okay, I got something.
Yo,
Uh-huh.
she's so petty. She did the bowling balls, the pool balls, and the dang cigarette machine.
The
Whatever
jukebox, the whole thing, the lane.
it was.
Take it.
Do that
Take
all about him. I was like,
I'm like, if I was Sinister, I'm like, yo, hold up. What you need to know? Because like, I'm not doing that again. You ain't.
Well, notice
you ain't
he
about to
like
throw the
melted
whole
away.
arcade at
He was
me.
like, you know what? Never.
Yeah.
You ain't about to throw the whole break room at me. Like
That's why he took it to the woods. That's why he took it to the woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I love Jean and Storm's moment when she's what is it? Make them mind your weather and make them weather
Yeah,
your
right.
mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here we
Yeah,
go.
I love that one. And I was like, and like I was saying, I knew Mark would too, because again, we've talked about our shared love for spoken word poetry. And
He doesn't like spoken word.
Mark does not like spoken word. But yeah, no, I love that line. And I saw someone mentioning this, and I'm like, yo, they should do this, like just the dialogue when they have lines like that and all of this throughout this. They're like, Marvel, like in your live action movies, why are you afraid to do it? Like add that type of dialogue, the wordplay, the depth. It's like, do it, try it. It's working here. It'll work in your live action movies. So
And it feels like I've never, and this from reading all the comics, and I haven't been able to follow all the X-Men comics, but like I've never felt Jean a stronger connection between Jean and Aurora, like ever. I've never felt that. Like it really feels like they are like sisters. They've been through some things.
It's like hinted to in the comic books. And I mean, you know, X-Men has a long history. I'm sure there could be some comics, some runs that like play onto it. But from all that I've read, this of all the iterations of X-Men I've seen, this one is like the one I'm like, oh, they're sisters. Like I really feel the love between the two.
They grew up together. You know, they've been through a lot. Nah, I love it. I love it. It's dope.
Yeah, man.
Beautiful.
You know,
then
I
it was
actually,
like right to getting it busy.
Yeah.
You actually see like the closest relationship is Storm and Kitty Pryde, like in the comic books. Like that is like apparent. Like you see that a lot in the comics. Like they are really close.
Well, they gave you
But
a little bit of
lot
that
with Storm in
the
Jean.
beginning with Jubilee when she's like,
Yeah,
Storm,
that's right.
she's I'm not letting go.
I ain't letting go.
missed her.
You're gonna have to fly me out of here because I'm not letting you go.
Storm is like everybody's auntie and big sister. She's just like everybody, and this is why she's like family. But I think, you know, you see a little bit of this just to go back to the lake, because when she's talking to Rogue and talking about, hey, what are our family? Like she feels that tension and the pain, and she's like, and I understand. Like we all have family members, I'm assuming, who like, look, I don't necessarily like agree with you, but I understand. But I'm just know that I'm here for you. I felt in her voice and the way she speaks to Jean, the way she speaks to Rogan and folks on the team is like, I'm here for everyone. I'm here for us to keep us together. Like Storm is that glue.
Yeah.
And Rogue was like, yo,
You weren't there, sugar.
You weren't there.
And look, she ain't wrong.
She ain't wrong.
You ain't seen your nose of sugar.
I'll quickly name Bastion is a monster. There's actually there's two more things that we gotta talk about on that part before we go to the asteroid. Bastion's a monster, y'all. Like a technopath? Like what? And he's not a mutant? Like that's not okay for anybody. He had several sentinels. All right, several sentinels. And I feel like he could just control them at a whim. And then when they went toe-to-toe with him, I don't know what it was, like a psychic blast, but a psychotechnic blast, and just like completely took Morph off the board, completely took Beast off the board quickly. Y'all may not remember it because it was 2 seconds. Like it was quick. So yeah, Bastion's gonna be a problem, y'all. I think you need Magneto to take him down. Just
He's a
gonna throw that out
psychopath.
there.
I'm go back to the opening scenes, bro. You made your mom a robot. Why are you mad that she got? I don't understand. Like I know she's your mom, but like you used her as a pawn in a war in a game, and now you're carrying her body to the street. Like, oh, like are you that disassociated in your mind where it's like,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Yes.
because those look like real tears, and I'm
Let
like,
me
if
ask you
that's
this
the case,
though:
this man is
Yes.
is he upset just because she's a casualty of this conflict, this war, or is it because a mutant took her out?
Oh, all the above, Mark.
Yes.
All the above.
The
And
answer
probably
is
some
yes.
others. He might just be upset that the plan wasn't going well. You know what I'm
True.
saying? That could have been all what those tears are. The man is demented. All right. It could have been all those things or none of those things. He could have just been upset that his toy stopped working. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really don't know what's going on with this guy, except you know he's a problem. And
Yeah.
that's why instead of fighting, they should have came together as a family and
Took
took
him out.
out him. That was the
Talk about it.
that's what the game plan should have been.
Stay on target.
Yeah. Yo, but and as we have talked, many times about how X-Men is like, allegory symbolizing like what is happening in the world. I'm like, is that not like true as well? Because if all of these oppressed peoples came together to stop this oppressor, we would get so much done. But even among oppressed peoples,
Light work.
whether it's
They would have been
Yeah.
home for dinner, Shannon.
yeah,
They all just
whether-
did it together. you
yeah,
know?
and it's like whether it's our race, income, sexual orientation, nationality, whatever.
There's
Many times we're fighting with each other, arguing with each other, and then and then we get got. Then everybody's got.
colonizers are gonna colonize.
Yeah,
Oh, they ain't looking. Come on. Come on. Let's just make robots over like half the world population. Like that's a deep cut, Shannon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ooh. So
Comic book
there's one
experts
other
can-
thing.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead,
was-
Mark.
So Morph turning into the Hulk. So is Morph, can Morph turn into anybody, or
I
is it
think we're
just
just playing loose with the
mutants?
rules now. I think we're just playing loose. I think look,
This is the first
Morph
time
is
he
in their bag.
Didn't like this is the first no, well, some people, depending on how you describe Juggernaut, sometimes folks don't see Juggernaut as a mutant. Some folks do see Juggernaut as a mutant. But if you just exclude Juggernaut, this is the first time in the show he morphed into a non-mutant. Like, because Hulk is not
Yeah, that's
technically a
and
mutant.
I was like,
Yeah.
can they turn into? I thought the rule was mutants, and it had to be a physical power. It couldn't be like a telekinesis or I don't know, laser. But I thought it had to be a physical ability that
Yeah,
more
you can't do like projectile or something.
That's what I thought the rules were, but
I thought he had to be a tangible, at least like be in proximity to the other mutant or the other person before he can like manipulate that form. But I mean, look,
Morph clearly got to upgrade
yeah.
between X-Men the animated series and X-Men 97. All right.
Yeah.
Morph went through some stuff, but also went to practice, and now Morph can morph into Hulk.
he's
So
doing them push-ups.
I
He's
love
been
love
doing it in the
that.
danger room, get them danger room
The
sessions.
danger room session.
Yeah, I sort of said it from the beginning. Like Morph is one of my favorites. Like even from the original X-Men cartoon. But when Morph was like, what Morph Smash?
Yeah,
I was like,
yes.
yo, this is it. I love this.
good old golf clap.
And they did the I forgot what it's called, but you were talking about it, Niels, like where we've seen a little bit of it when like mutants sort of combine their powers and
Mutant
work together.
circuit.
A circuit, yeah, because
Yeah.
when he was like hopping around, flying around, hitting them, that wasn't just him jumping. You could see that was Gene like allowing him to, or them to, throwing them, spinning, this and
Yeah.
that. So
And
Shannon,
that was just 2 mutants. Again, like imagine if like 4 or 5 mutants work together. Like that is the power of a mutant circuit. They could do some crazy stuff. So yeah.
we've been getting going back to comic books. One of the best things about comic books, team ups. Everybody loves a good team up. X-Men's the ultimate team up squad. And we've been seeing some amazing team ups. Can we get the crew together though and take out this psychopath? This psychopath. At least
Yo.
Joker has fun with it. This dude is this man.
There's one more thing we gotta talk about this island, and then we gotta go to the asteroid. And that's Cable. For the first time, I think, in either series. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. The X-Men animated, I may have just forgot if he did it, but like Cable fully uses his telepathic powers, and like, whoo, he was knocking. Did he knock out Jean? I'm pretty sure he did.
I
That
gave her
shows
a
you how
warning.
powerful Cable is
if
as a
you look
telepath.
at that scene, it turns red, and I don't know if that's like the Phoenix activating.
I mean,
she's
it was
like,
coming through
maybe.
Scott's eyes though, so I
True.
think that's what
like
the
I
red
could be
was.
wrong, but I was like, like this show doesn't like Oda and One Piece nails. I don't think they do anything on accident in this show. So
Well, think about it. When Rogue going back to the lake, Rogue says, "Who's next?" First person she says, "Is it Jean?" Because we've been there before.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be a little foresight. Maybe he taps into the Phoenix, but needless to your point, I never seen Cable use his sonic abilities. I think in our overly obsessed like gun culture, it's like, look at this big gun and how
Yeah.
cool he is.
I didn't know he had any.
But bright eyes,
see?
bright eyes.
Because he had a big old gun, he ain't need it.
That's right. He
He's
didn't
like,
have to
this
need
is
it.
all the mutant powers I
This is
need.
just a warm up.
Pew, pew, that's my mutant
Exactly.
power.
But he's
Basically
like,
Punisher.
say my mama's name again. Take my
Yeah,
mama's name
yeah.
out your mouth. Say her name one more time. And I'm like, oh, we got some held back. Again, PTSD, trauma, grief.
Mhm.
The baby been left to time somewhere in the future with nobody. Bishop.
And
Nobody.
I'm glad you mentioned Bishop, because I feel like this episode was like the Poochie episode of The Simpsons, where it's like, and when Bishop's not on the screen, everyone should be like, "Where's Poochie?" or "Where's Bishop? What's Bishop up to?" Because like it's been like the last 3 episodes, like, where is Bishop?
Yeah.
like we need
Bishop
here.
is having a Folgers and telling stories about what he went through over there. He's like, and they gave me this white baby. It told me to bring it here. And I was just like, I don't know what happened to the white
Bishop.
baby.
Hey, Bishop is on his J. Cole like life right now. He's like, I just stepped away. It wasn't in my soul,
Yeah.
and I just stepped away from the whole thing.
I
My
chose
name is
peace.
Bennett. I ain't in it.
I chose peace. I chose
I
peace.
chose peace. And now I'm riding bikes through Charlotte, and I'm having a good old time.
Yo, one last one. I know we're about to go on, but I saw this, to me, this similarity. We mentioned it in our chat and everything, but Beast, when he took the hand of the Sentinel and
Man.
slapped it, the only thing coming to my mind was Rick James, Charlie Murphy, because that was the equivalent of what he said. He was like, "What's the sound of one hand clapping or whatever?" He was basically like, "What did the 5 fingers say to the face?"
Right. Cold-blooded.
Oh, man.
But
All
that
right.
is basically what he did.
So, y'all, in these 15 minutes, we just talked about one half. The other half of those 15 minutes at the end of the episode was Asteroid M. So much stuff happened here, but really it was just a fight and an argument happened at once. The real awkward thing about this was it felt like, I don't know if y'all felt this way, it felt like you were watching a family fight. Like, this is like how mutants argue. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like, instead of like Thanksgiving, people just going back and forth, because they were raised in the danger room, they're gonna need to use their powers to get some steam off. So like this was them fighting. And I feel like one person didn't get the program. Everybody else was bickering. And one person was like, oh no, we fighting. And it's that wild
You got it
uncle
eventually.
that you don't bring around.
Mhm.
Like,
had a little
you
too
stay
many
over
drinks,
there,
bro.
Drinking
drinking
too
want to
much.
take this to another level.
Uncle Logan
He
had a
was
little
sitting
too
in the
much to
truck
drink
for a minute. He was sitting
You
in
know
the
what I'm
parking
saying?
lot.
Sauced up.
He came in for another turkey
He
leg
came
and
to
was
the
like,
party
"Oh,
drunk.
that's what we doing."
He's like, oh, so we throwing bodies around? Like, no, Uncle
Even-
Logan, like, come on. We
even
just having a
Rogue said-
conversation.
Rogue was like, yo, hold up. You trying to Rogue was like, you playing for keeps. Like, we trying to talk.
Like, chill. We just had a disagreement. Baby
Everybody's
Logan,
face.
calm down.
Everybody's face. They were just like, "Whoa!"
Like,
Hey.
leave the piece at the door, bro.
Logan was
Leave
like,
the
hey,
piece
we
at-
got
what are you
12
doing?
hours. I'm trying to see the sunrise tomorrow. He's like, I don't know what everyone else is trying to do, but I'm trying to live tomorrow, so we.
I made it.
You know
this
it's
far.
bad when Rogue got a strong arm. I'm like, yo, calm down.
Yo, relax.
Right.
And she been through Genosha. She lived through Genosha. She's like, yo, you need to relax. Like, you need to calm.
Wolverine is still amped up. Like, yo, PTSD, Jeff. You nailed it. That man's like, oh, it's wartime. All right, I know how to do this. It's wartime. It's wartime. I don't care who it is. They gonna get it. It's wartime.
You can take the soldier out the war, but I mean,
Someone gonna get it.
Like, I'm curious. Did y'all see that though? Like, you notice, like, at one point, Jubilee and Sunspot were just kind of like sparkling each other, like, hey,
like talking. Oh, come on, Jew, don't you love me? And like,
look,
no,
Roberto played himself. Can we just say this? This man, this boy, this privileged little boy in his ivory tower, he thought he was gonna hang out, hook up with the street girl, and then he was like, yeah, but nah, I'm good. I'm gonna kick it with Uncle M up on an asteroid. And Julie's like, oh, for real? Oh, that's what we're doing?
Like, I was raised in the danger.
He was like, right? I was raised in the darkness. And like, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, was that too much? I got something for you. I didn't know Jubilee could get down like that. She hitting him with the propulsion fireworks.
But it still looked like a bicker. You know what I'm saying? It was still
for sure. Angry teenagers.
Yeah. She wasn't on that Logan, but she was like, nah, dog, we are not on the same level.
There would be some tears in the morning, a lot of regrets.
You see who my aunts and uncles are? We are not on the same level.
I will tell you the moment for me though in that scene is actually when Charles is like, all right, Magneto, Magnus, you my boy, but I'm going through. You have to ruin my plans now. I gotta take over. And Scott was like, hold up. It's like you had this father-son dynamic, and then you realize your dad is a human and he done hurt you in some ways. I'm gonna get my look back. And I felt like the feeling I had when Scott turns on Professor Xavier was Anakin and Mace Windu.
Wow, I have a very different reaction to that. Even though that is an amazing comparison that I want to sit in with a little bit. Dang, that is an amazing comparison. Sheesh. Okay, I have a different reaction to that. My reaction when Scott did that, Scott chose mutants over humans. Yeah. Professor X was doing all that to save the humans. And Scott was like, their mutants will die if this happens. And I'm choosing mutants over humans. Now, you granted, like, if you do another level, it's like maybe he just wanted to save Jean's life because, you know, if the Prime Sentinels are back on, Jean and Cable would have got. But like, I'm taking it at another level. He was like, no more mutants are gonna die, especially for the benefit of humans. So I'm not against I'm not with Magneto, but like, I know our team needs more time, and they're not gonna die because of all this. So like, chill out. So I think he just chose mutants over humans. That's at least how I took it.
That's real.
He started making decisions for himself.
He's grown up. Little Scotty Somerson grown up. Can we get us some graduation papers? Like, he's standing out, coming out on his own, going grocery shopping, cleaning his own drawers, the whole thing. I'm proud of that boy.
So there's one other thing I gotta say with this then, and this is me channeling Dr. Michael Stevens. What's gonna come from this? Because there's a few times where there's a divide between the X-Men, and like typically those times go with Magneto and Cyclops getting real cool. And when Magneto and Cyclops get real cool, Cyclops is on some mutants over everybody type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like some real militant mutants over everybody. Like he's compensating for all the years under Charles type of mutants over everybody type stuff. So I wonder if that's going to happen, or, you know, we get some Age of Apocalypse stuff. We've been getting hints of Apocalypse all this time, and we haven't seen or heard none about Apocalypse in the season. So
I think Charles is going to snap. You know, like that scene in Equilibrium where they find out Cleric has been like a spy and they're giving him the test, and his emotion lines just go, and the guy's like, "Oh no." I feel like that's what Charles is gonna do, because like Charles got really emotional. He's like, "For the love of God, don't do that."
Yeah.
He was begging, and I think he might snap.
Mm.
And all his like on his high horse and like we're better than this. We are not gods, Magnus. I think he is like, they not like us. He about to get really dirty, you know.
Mhm. No, I'm with you on that. Yeah, like to see one of your children of the atom get killed right in front of you. And
In
it
a
wasn't like
horrible way.
yeah, in a horrible way.
horrible way.
And it wasn't like one of the Sentinels, like the Sentinels, okay, they robots, they do their thing or whatever, but
Yeah.
this was your still your friend.
And he
through all
didn't
the
have
stuff
to
he did.
do it.
Yeah,
he
didn't have,
already beat him. He didn't have to do it.
yeah.
This is the I'm sorry, go ahead, Shannon, finish.
Oh, no. I was yeah. I think he's gonna snap there, and then just a little piece that just shows like, dang, Magneto has always been holding back, like just always, like even all
for
these battles,
years.
he's always been like, I can hurt y'all and this and that, and we're gonna fight whatever happens. But he's always been like, he can destroy them, and he's always just held back to some level.
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead.
And
go ahead.
I'll let you go, Jeff, but I'll just quickly
Yeah.
say, and he was holding back because he could have always gone to the North Pole and just shut all the humans down.
Always.
He's
Mhm.
been holding back this whole time. So yeah,
Mhm.
I agree.
So I've been waiting to see that scene with Logan and Magneto since I was like 15, and I was reading the double page like comic. I'm like, look, Logan ain't dead. He has his mutant ability isn't claws. His mutant ability is heating factor. He gonna be all right. But the level you thought he had PTSD before, this man, he ain't never gonna be the same. He's never gonna be the same. I predict Cyclops first. I think open up the door for season 2 or season 3. Wait till Emma Frost wake up. They're gonna be kikiing.
There's gonna be a couple.
We gonna be good. I think if Magneto is gone off the board, I actually think Scott replaces Magneto as Professor X's analog and protagonist or antagonist.
So you think we're going X-Men versus Avengers?
100%. There's war everywhere. We're talking humans against humans, humans against mutants, mutants against mutants, murder robots against mutants to enslave to take over human bodies and enslave mutants. It's everywhere. Y'all been saying this for weeks now. Where the Avengers been at? Bro, they shut down a planet.
Mhm.
You ain't noticed the Avengers Tower ain't got no lights no more. You ain't noticed that like the Fantastic Four got stuck in another dimension because they ain't got no power no more.
Or Spider-Man just got a studio apartment. He like
Look,
he trying to get the light switch
look,
on.
if Steve Rogers tries to talk to Rogue and say, well, our lives, no, mommy.
Yeah.
We are marching towards AVX because the president, go back to the president. He said, Charles, if this don't work, you're gonna force me to do something you don't want me to do. You calling the government. This universe's Captain America is #1 soldier. I think we actually start to move into an actual dystopian future. Mind you, think Days of Future Past. We had never seen that future. We had never seen the X-Men live in that future. I think we're going to live into that future. And it's X-Men versus everybody. It's the mutants versus everybody. And you cannot talk about tolerance to Scott Summers no more. They took his baby, used it against his first wife.
Hey,
like,
I don't even know. You don't even know if you can say that.
Wives.
Just say Madeline.
Sister wives.
like, I don't even know. I can't say his baby mama, but part of his baby's mama. Look,
You can.
Scott.
Baby mama.
But like Scott was just getting to his dad groove, and you could tell he lost a Boy Scout because when Nathan is like, hey, what are you gonna tell me? Like, play nice. He's like, be careful. He's like, no, like, give him help. Get it, get it. That's your daddy's advice before he shot Professor X. Nah, Scott Summers is that dude now. He might even wear black leather.
Y'all, this episode was amazing. I'm
So good.
curious as we wrap up if y'all have any like predictions or thoughts on what things are going to happen next. I'll quickly say this. I'm not like we're in a moment right now because when I was growing up, like what got me to start reading comic books was the death of Superman and the whole reign of Superman. That was like one of the big things in my childhood. But the next big thing that happened after that in the world of comic books for me as a child was the Magneto pulling out Wolverine's thing. Like I was too young to read it. But it was like in the world of comic books, like there was like a spike. That spike was Death of Superman. And the next spike for me was that scene when Magneto took out the adamantium. And so much important X-Men stuff happened right after that. And then we got like, all the X-Men shows and then movies and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. This is a big moment in X-Men history. I think this is when, and I could be wrong, like Mike will be on next week. He can share more, but like, this is when Wolverine's powers really go another level. Like you really start to see like, it gets his healing powers get obnoxious. And you're like, okay, like this guy can't die. Nothing can stop him. Like after this, it's kind of like, it gets a little obnoxious. And of course, the other big thing is this is where Onslaught comes from. And there's nothing worse than Onslaught. Like there's nothing worse than Onslaught. Bastion is a baby compared to Onslaught. So if we get Onslaught, that's all of season 2. Damn near might be season 3. Might be the end of the entire universe if we get Onslaught. So yeah, just throwing that out there. So, but I'm curious what y'all think.
One of my, I'll say a quick question and then. So I'm wondering, like, to what you're saying, is it sort of that thing, oh, you have a mouse problem, and then you get snakes to eat the mice. Oh, now you got a snake problem. Now you get mongoose or whatever to eat the snake. So is that sort of like this? Because like, oh, you got a Bastion problem. Onslaught comes out, maybe Onslaught stops Bastion. But now who stops Onslaught? Something worse? And then, or,
I don't think Onslaught was like a choice to like say like, hey, let's stop Bastion. Let's create Onslaught. It's kind of just happened. Mm-hmm. But in your comparison, if Bastion is the mouse that entered the house, Onslaught is the bazooka that's attached to a tank to take him out. So, yes.
Yeah. No, but like you said, those like that's a question. And then just one of my, I don't know. Yeah, one of my thoughts. Well, y'all were saying, Avengers coming in. I mean, I think they definitely got to do that. Got to now. And I can just say, like, when I finished this episode, I really like my first thought was this episode made me sad. Like that, like to be real, like that's how it felt. Like to see it, like Wolverine's adamantium being pulled out at that moment after, and like everything that had happened. And I'm just like, wow. I feel a little sad watching this and just sort of, went to bed. So really, I just want to tell, the viewers out there, if you've seen episode 5 and 9 of X-Men 97, you may be entitled to compensation. It did something to us.
Get help.
Yeah.
This too. You might want to talk, call BetterHelp.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just finished X-Men. Nah, Shannon, I'm with like this when I finished this episode, it's like the best way I could put it. Y'all ever got hit so hard that you just had to think about it?
Yeah.
Like you feel like bam, and you don't even like. You're like, wow, that was hard. Like that's what this episode.
That's what people go like time out. Like hold on, time out.
Hold up.
Give me a second.
The levels here.
Let me just figure out what happened to me. Like that's what this episode felt like. I was like, yo, what just happened? Am I sad? Am I even feeling anything? Like, I was like, what is going on? Like, Wolverine who like, I don't know much about X-Men comics, but like this guy is known for having an adamantium bone, and Magneto was like, not today, and just like took it out of his body, and it's like, what? It was crazy, man. Yeah, I don't know much about Onslaught, but I feel like that's where this is going. All I know about Onslaught is from Marvel vs. Capcom 1, because he was the villain. So
Yep.
if
And I can never beat him. Never.
if you had to bring in
Ever.
Street Fighter and Mega Man to beat him, he must be a problem. So but I'm excited, man. I will say, with all of this and this show on a whole, and we talked about this before the show, there's something to be said about giving the stories of the X-Men to marginalized groups and people who are from like, oppressed people. Like there's something to be said about giving people who can relate to these stories. And it's like Shannon, you were talking about like Easter, there's just things that can't translate, but you can feel them. And you just can't explain it to people, but people who come from these worlds, like y'all know, we've all been in situations where on paper what we experience technically isn't racism, but our sixth sense is like, this racist as, you know what I'm saying? But like on paper, and anyone else saw like, oh, that's just in your head. And I think this show is hitting those feelings. And it just like, yeah, there's something to be said about giving the X-Men to people who can relate to what they represent.
I have to build on that. First, and thanks for fact checking me on this, Neil. It's like this is the first time we've had an X-Men story written by a queer person of color, a queer person, the other, and it is. I'm going through every single episode. I'm going through emotions. I'm like, ooh, that part. Even in Jubilee episode, there were moments. Even in Jess, like, that hits. No, And I left this episode, like, look, we don't get to wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, there goes racism. And I feel like if Boda Maya was saying anything, it's like, nah, just because you want there to be a happy ending don't mean you wake up to a happy ending. You have to live in the consequence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my prediction, Neil, to your question is like X-Men lose.
That's what Shannon predicted.
Yeah,
Professor X, he said, come on, Mr. President. Come on, President Kelly. Trust me. Trust me. Trust my people. What happened when you lose, bro? They're going to call America's, we're going to avenge this planet. You're going to have to live in the wake. You're going to have to live in the wake of the consequences. You were chilling with your space bird lady. You came down here. You left it to a madman. Half the world is gone. We ain't got no lights, no power. We're fighting over water. That's on you, homie. You better snap him up. And Onslaught, but it's not just that. Look, in episode 8, they put half the Earth's population against the mutants. I was legit scared. I'm like washing dishes, like, I don't know what we're gonna do, Gus. I don't know how we're gonna get out of this one. I don't know. What you said, the mouse, Shannon? When you get to the bazooka and the tank, Avengers, superpowered humans, and Onslaught.
That's a lot.
I have to find some place to go.
That's a lot. We need more mutants. We need more mutants. I don't know what we got right now is enough. We might need to recruit some new ones.
Neil's the last thing I'll just say. This is X-Men 97. What year is it right now? 2024. If we're gonna do it chronologically in terms of like span of time, what happens when you live in a society that's broken and that's resource scarce for a long time?
You know, it in the original show, that episode where it's the future, Bishop's future, and Wolverine's there, and he's older.
Storm.
Yeah. Do they ever explain how we got to that future?
Yes.
Not
Charles Xavier died.
Oh, that's
But
right. That's the
like
universe he died
but
in.
like when did that happen? Is that
It
gonna
happened. It
happen?
happened early on. Like it happened like when he was in college.
Yeah, it's
But
like they took him out and he didn't exist.
what I'm getting at is with now we have all the structure of like the MCU and the what ifs. Like
Mhm.
what if that's this future is from here? You know, like with Loki, we have all these variants. I agree with Jeff. Like we could go into like a dystopian future and maybe like this is the start to Bishop's timeline or something like that. It's
Well,
possibilities are
it's
endless.
but that's where that Mark, that's where Secret Wars comes in. Like, so the reason we can morph and they can transform into whoever they want to do, it's not about why can't it and the powers, it's about because we can. Because if you done seen it over here, once we do it in another space over here, you've already now you've suspended disbelief. You understand this is part of the rules in this universe. And what Secret Wars for the comic book does, it says we had all these, we had 616 and like all these other universes, and then they boom, and now Miles is hanging out with Peter, and now you got X-23 hanging out with Logan.
Mm.
What? But and so you might have a world where you have a super traumatized Wolverine who can't die, but has now seen what happens when you get this mutant on mutant crime, like talking to someone like a Kamala Khan, being like, "Child, please, you don't know."
Mm. So you would say he's sort of like giving up. And I asked that because
Mm.
maybe this is wishful thinking, but I would love if this something happens, this Wolverine is actually the Wolverine that's going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine, because he will be like, my universe, everything went wrong,
Yeah.
everybody
Or he
died.
will show up in Deadpool and Wolverine because
Yeah.
like Loki, he's made it clear there's variants. So
That's right.
we don't know who Hugh Jackman, we don't know what Wolverine that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
just
Shannon,
that
you think
Wolverine,
it might be the X-Men 97 Wolverine.
yeah.
maybe, but
Yeah.
that one actually has the adamantium claws,
He
like
had
we
the
see.
claws, yeah.
Oh, true.
And
True.
so, and like the Wolverine, if it's true to comics, this Wolverine goes on with just bone claws. It's just his bones. That's part of his structure. And so he's just gonna have raw bone punching out of his skin going for it, unless he goes back and get adamantium. But
I mean, he eventually get an adamantium again. So
that's true. That's true.
comic books.
Or the Deadpool Wolverine is a variant of this
I think it's a
97.
This other
variant.
one,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
a branch timeline. But
y'all, we could keep going.
Yeah.
we
The
could. We gotta
episode
cut
was
it off.
great and
It's
lovely.
so good.
Episode 9 was awesome. And there's one more left.
Yes.
So any last things before we head out, y'all?
Can we call and have a grievance circle? We don't have to record it, but I feel like after episode 10, I'm gonna need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I can't just do this by myself. You know?
That's why the podcast is here, brother.
Yeah.
That's why the podcast is here. It's just for us to vent, talk about our feelings.
I'm slowly coming to terms with it is gonna be a cliffhanger, it is gonna be a mess, and like I don't think much of anything is gonna get resolved. Like forget resolving anything in one episode. Is like maybe some of this will get resolved halfway through season 2. Maybe.
Shannon, I don't mind setting up the next season, but I want a kind of
some type of closure.
Some type of closure. Like this book is ended. That doesn't mean this story's, because look at Avatar: The Last Airbender. Each one of those seasons is like this book's over, but I would say only like season 2 is like a clear like find out what happens next season, you know. But that's what I'm hoping for. Some type of just like this chapter's done, but we still have to answer these questions moving forward.
Yeah, there'll be I think there'll be like a big kind of, ultimate moment. But I think what Bo and the team and Marvel Animation gonna leave us with is all the feels.
Yeah.
Like the feeling we have, like, man, I can't wait for another Wednesday.
Yeah.
Gotta get that Wednesday. And now Bo already put it out in the internet. He said, "Oh, y'all thought episode 5 was something."
Yeah.
8, 9, 10. 8, 9, 10.
the way 5 and 9 have made me feel, and I know
I
I'm gonna feel
mean-
worse when I see 10, but I don't want to feel it, but I know.
But you
None
do
of us
because you want
know.
that
I know.
juice.
And look, this is how bad it is. Everybody just staring at Bo DeMaio's X feed, like and like he'll just like say like, "Go watch episode."
You don't even work
7."
for this company anymore. People are
Yeah,
just like,
he's just hit someone with go watch episode 7 of this random TV show. It'll give you everything you need, and then just says nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we're traumatized from a 30-minute cartoon show. Anyways,
He's
y'all.
parlaying his real life, challenges into the next one.
Mhm.
Y'all, well, Jeff, thank you for coming through.
Hey,
We clearly
y'all
had
so
a ball.
much.
We could have kept going, but we
This is
have
amazing.
children.
We gotta go to bed.
We have to stop.
our children of the atom waiting for us.
Yeah.
Legit.
Thank you,
Legit.
Jeff. Thank you. You can come back anytime, brother. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure
thank you,
having
thank you.
And thank you, Pop Cult. Thank you for listening. We have a new episode every month. You can find us on all social media at Pop Cult Parent, POPCULTPARENT. Visit us at www.popcultparent.com. Become a member of the Pop Cult at our Patreon, like Jeff. Patreon.com/Pop Cult Parent, where you can see all of our full video episodes. Email us at popcultparent@gmail.com. Don't forget to rate us, review, and subscribe. And as always, join the cult. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.